Welcome everybody to Off the Record Airtable Secrets and Lore. We're a group of Airtable users exploring new ways to use Airtable to optimize our businesses and lives. We're open to hearing from anyone about your experience, good or bad, using Airtable to make a positive impact in the world. We attempt to promote people coming from any level to share your ideas or ask questions. We also share our experiences, tips, and practices, and offer ways to get help and get involved in the community. We meet every other Wednesday from 7 p.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. Eastern time, almost every other Wednesday. So to kick things off, welcome back, Kuvan, welcome back, Chris. We're catching up a little bit before this, but typically we start this off by going through some Airtable news. I was thinking about Airtable news before this call and looking some stuff up. The biggest piece of news that I could think of since our last time was the news about Aaron leaving Airtable and then where Aaron is now, which was pretty exciting to me. But
should we speculate since we've all known about this for some time because there was a BCC email sent to God knows who?
Yeah, I don't think I can't remember what the BCC. I was on that BCC email, but I don't remember what it said.
But do we speculate what we thought it was going to be before? Well, we know where he is now, but do we talk about what we thought was happening? Yeah.
So basically, we got a BCC email saying he was departing Airtable.
Were you on that email?
You're talking about Aaron automate all the things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were on the email?
I don't remember where I heard about it, but I did hear about it.
That's so funny. So yeah, so my speculation when I heard about this, and I won't say where I heard about it, but then I ended up getting the email, so I must have been in the same thread. My thought was, okay, if Aaron's leaving Airtable, and I knew, I'll tell you right now, I texted Ben and I said, Ben, I know this for sure. He is going out. He is starting his own no-code company because he's been working with this. He's been working with this other guy named Bubble. Because everybody wants to be Gareth. Gareth is the 7-figure Airtable consultant, right? Is it 7 or 9? I can't remember how much. Does he have a GDP of China yet? He has a lot of money. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been on camera. But I thought that's what he was doing, and I'll be honest, I was blown away to heard he went to Bubble. Was it Bubble? Where'd he go? Bubble?
Webflow.
Webflow. I was blown away. Other than I think his site is built on Webflow. Is it not?
I think it is built on Webflow with the help of FinSuite, if I remember right.
Yeah, because it's down at the bottom. It says whoever. So, two things come to my mind, and I'll stop. One, is there trouble in paradise at Airtable? Because if they can't they just moved him to New York. He's Canadian. So like, my first thought was, okay, if Airtable can't keep you. That says a lot. I'll just leave that there. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying Airtable, Aaron's talented. He's easy on the eyes. He's good on camera. He's personable. You know what I mean? I don't know the guy personally. I wish he had some more diversity. Hey, Aaron, if you're listening, anybody of color would be great. Maybe some gay people. But other than that, I think he's a remarkable talent.
Kuvan has met Aaron, correct? You met him in person at the office.
I did meet him in person. I got to, over the summer, I cajoled a tour of their New York offices from Jordan, and I did get to see Aaron then.
Nice. But, and is he 7 foot? I heard he's really tall.
Well, I had to sign an NDA, and that was one of the conditions of the NDA.
Was saying how tall he was?
He is taller than I am.
Okay. Well, that doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't.
I've met you. Come on. So I was surprised. I'm still shocked because I thought Airtable. If I worked at Airtable and I was in management, I would have done anything to keep him. But that does say a lot about Webflow and what Webflow is doing. That I'll just leave that there. Thoughts? Not about me, about the situation.
I was surprised to see that he went to Webflow and did not do his own thing, because I think when we were texting, when Chris and I were texting, I was for sure that he was going to go and continue it on his own thing with Connor Finlayson, but because they have like this like my arch nemesis. It's like Code Meets No Code or something like that as their website. And now Connor is like showed up on their, or like led Aaron's live stream podcast. So I thought they were going to go in that full time and fully commit to that. But I've also heard, I can't remember where, it may have been from someone in this group, that a lot of people have transitioned from Airtable to Webflow. But
Interesting. That makes you think there's a battle for talent of some sort. I mean, I've played around with Webflow. I think it's just, I'm probably a lot, I won't speak for Kuvan. I got ready to say I think I'm a lot like Kuvan, but I'm a numbers man. I mean, I give me grit or give me death. That's just me.
What other Airtable news, or I guess Kuvan, what do you think about the change?
I think that Aaron is incredibly good at what he does.
Right.
I kind of got the impression that Airtable didn't quite know what to do with him and how to position that in everything that Airtable is trying to do. We've seen over the past, over the years, so Airtable has been coming up with a lot of different features, trying a lot of different things. And what Aaron did was he was educating people on this is, how you use the features. He was presenting things like that. And a lot of what I've been seeing in Airtable is they're like trying to make it easier to discover how to do things without going off and like learning, without going off and watching another video or something like that. And I think this is really hard when you have a lot of you don't have that clear focus of what direction you're going to go, decide, well, what should someone like that do when they're trying to do that education? Like, I mean, I loved Table Talk. I think it was awesome, but it definitely took a lot of effort to put that together. And maybe Airtable has decided that it was not worth the budget that it would take to do all of that in terms of.
Well, I wonder if it was a budget thing, because let's be honest, that wasn't that high of a production value. I mean, it was good. I like Table Talk, but I still think, and again, this is not a slam, although it might sound like one. I still think Airtable doesn't know what to do with the community, because it's got two communities. It's got what I would call the community that everyone belongs to, like over on Airtable, like that proper community, the one that's hosted on there.
The official one.
The official one, yeah. Then they've got kind of what I would call their social community, like the Twitter, the people, the LinkedIn people, the Facebook people, right? That's a much more nebulous thing. Then they've got kind of what we're starting to see, what they did in London last month, right? Where they had basically a Airtable clone over there, where they've got these other kind of, where they invite some of their bigger enterprise customers in communities. So I think there's a little bit of I think there's a lack of focus on what is community for them. And I think, again, I think it all comes down to, I'll say it again, I always get in trouble, and I apologize to Camille if she's listening. We're still not their customers.
Well, and it's even bigger than what you're saying, because there's also the other companies that are their third-party partners. There's also the associated consultants that, put together different things and offer additional services.
That's a thing now, right? Ben, you're on. Kuvan, are you an official one like Ben? I know Ben was on that list.
I'm not an official consultant anymore.
Anymore, or you were, or you weren't? I'm sorry.
I was, but then I decided that I would rather be an employee. And one of my clients hired me as an employee.
Oh, so you work for someone doing Airtable full time now. You're no longer consulting?
I'm no longer consulting, correct.
Oh, when did I miss that?
Over the summer.
Okay.
I didn't announce it.
It was shortly after the
Airtable conference.
Okay. Well, you gave good video. So Ben, are you still an official consultant? I know you do consulting, by the way, but I meant like an Airtable official one. And then do you get pipeline through there, or is it just basically a web page?
So they send their lead, or like their people considering consulting through there. So I can share how people find that. Basically, they go.
By the way, Ben, I send people to you all the time.
I appreciate it. So it looks like Andy has surpassed in our studio, which is new. But there's this website called ecosystem.airtable.com. And I don't know where Airtable promotes this all, but I know they promote it directly to their enterprise customers who they can't provide that level of support to. And then also in general, people can find this, I believe, through
Ben! There's Ben!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm right here. So there's Andy, there's Dan Falars, myself. This is Cherry Yang. I know Scott
Cherry.
Rose.
Cherry was at the first Airtable conference. So
yeah.
Jen's been at both, you've been at one. Okay, this is cool. I'm starting to make sense.
Yeah. And I believe this is Diane from Positive Workspace.
Yeah.
And if you click on those things, do you see more about you?
Yeah, so you see a description that person wrote up.
Nice.
And you can see some resources. Some people have like I'll draw off Dan's. They have media here. You could have videos, and then there's all the.
Is that company Dan started with that guy from Mexico?
Yep, Dan and Sergio. Sergio.
So is Gap Consulting even listed, or are they doing their own thing?
Gap,
they're listed.
They're a loss leader on here. They are tied. I guess someone has 3 reviews somehow. You're supposed to have at least 5, but Gap is back here.
Wow.
He should have a lot more reviews than this. I don't think he.
I think that Gap does not put in the efforts to solicit more reviews because I don't think they need to.
Well, that he's I just saw another video. His 11-figure consultant. Is it 11 figures? He's getting richer by the hour in this call. No, but seriously, there's a new video. Well, that's crazy. I had no idea all that. I still do my little bit of Airtable consulting, but it's literally $15,000 here, $10,000 there, a couple months, and it's like simple stuff. And I basically babysit all day. I swear, I don't do much.
That's some nice projects.
Yeah, I don't do formulas. I don't do anything. I just say, okay, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Well, go do that. And that's it. It works.
Yeah. Well, there's so many different Airtable use cases that there needs to be lots of people because there's no one person that can know how to do everything.
So I spoke to a lady today. I'm going to show you her site. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I probably am going to get in trouble for this. But, that's kind of what we do on this show, isn't it? So I spoke to this lady who made a interview or request for me. Have you guys heard of Whole Worker Management? U.S. Digital Response?
No, I have not.
Oh, so
what do they do?
Strap yourselves in, Becky. This is going to be a ride. So right around election time, all the different polling places in the United States need to hire almost 1 million people for election stuff. This company has they created an Airtable, which they clone to each city that wants to work with them to manage the entire election process. So they contacted me, right? So they contacted me to say, hey, we've heard that you sell Airtable systems. And I said, I've got Airtable, Daretable, Caretable, Flaretable, Sharetable, Theirtable. I've got all my there, I said, and I sell them. And it's just, well, how do, isn't it a license management thing? I said, no, you just, I said, you just sell someone support services and offer to manage their license for them. You're just buying a license, they use a license in your account. So it was pretty darn interested. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted. It was just pretty darn interesting. So this is what she was a great lady. And I said to her, I know what you want. You want to be able to spin up an instance of your solution, deploy it to Milwaukee. And if you make upgrades, the upgrades roll over. I know it's not there yet. That's not where we are. That's Airtable Universe version 5. That's where I think we need to be, but it is what it is.
There's so many of my client solutions that I wish I could do that.
Right?
Ultimately it's just building one that's scalable to that size where you can just have instances of it, or have more of a user portal where they only see someone logs in from this location, they only see this location's records. We just need to have 1 million records be available in that database.
I think this is where interface designers kind of save the day. because I've learned a lot since I released Airtable, and I've had hundreds of people sign up, download Airtable, write me. It's just been amazing. Airtable, there's nothing stopping me really from the one base, but you don't get the interface for the level you want. And even the base that I submitted only had like 3 layers in it. It didn't go further. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe there was some actual genius to interface designer. Well, I'm not real pleased with the licensing yet, if there's a bigger there that I wasn't seeing in the beginning.
Can you elaborate at all?
Well, just think about it this way. If interface designer, especially the way I made it. Now, again, I'm not saying that other interface designer things weren't good, but if I specifically made mine so it was stackable. Do you guys remember?
Mm-hmm.
If you could put a permission model around those and do so, like certain interfaces where you can only get in certain interfaces, and then another layer, even the group permission layer, and then an individual permission layer under, and then put some constraints on fields, you've got an app, right? And if no one ever saw the back end of Airtable, what we are used to as Airtable beginners, and you only ever shipped interface designer, well, you have your solution.
Yeah.
Does that make sense the way I'm saying it?
Yeah. You just show people the front end.
Yep. So
you think at that point, does it stay an app with really low limits? With record? We can, I guess, maybe get to that later.
Yeah. But part of what I really love about Airtable is the democratization of software creation, of how it enables everybody, even the little guy, to develop a custom solution that fits him. And Chris, I love what you did with the Airtable and all of that. But what I'd like to see even more is that people go out and then they just tweak it and adjust it to their own lives. See, like, that's the base. And then they take that and then just run with it to make it customized to them.
And how that works at like traditional SaaS companies like ServiceNow and Salesforce is, again, it would exist, but again, they would then have our permission, like a middle layer. Like, I'm kind of the developer layer. They'd have a middle layer where they could do certain things, but never get back to the bottom layer. I mean, this is something that happens in regular life. But speaking of Airtable, did I tell you guys I won? No, I'm just kidding.
I told you that you were gonna win.
I'll be honest, I was a little shocked. First, I was shocked it took them so long to make the announcement.
So right. Did you find out on the 9th?
No, I found out way before.
Okay.
I messaged Ben the day I found out, but I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of nice. I mean, it's not even the money. It's just kind of the recognition that it's not really a traditional Airtable use case. You know what I mean? And people liked it. You know what I mean? That really made me super happy. And I'll be honest with you, the people who've written to me, I'll show you some of the feedback I've gotten. It's been crazy good. The people who've written to me have said the nicest things. I put some of the feedback on the site now.
Real quick, can we get, before we jump into this, can we see a little bit, for those who have never seen Airtable, what is Airtable? Because some people might not have any idea what Airtable is.
Sure.
And what was the contest Airtable put out there is to make interfaces. They had three or four different categories you could win in. And so Chris created an amazing, he's used Airtable himself for a long time. And then he put a free version out there, but take it away.
Yeah. So I have two bases that run my life, Airtable and Airtable. So Airtable is the run that has, basically all of my business, family, tasks. It's the one that's got I'm not going to go through screens because I get in trouble when I do that. But it's got it's got a lot of stuff in here, right? So my family's down here. I can show values, right? Our values are here. Basically, what we do. The values kind of drive everything. Health records, timeline, goals, projects, tasks, interactions, inbox, all the people I deal with, all the organizations I deal with, my accounts, my bills, transactions or just financial transactions, all the documents in my life, the assets like literally in my house. It's kind of crazy. Everything. And then my husband has all of his NBC, which is Nightmare Before Christmas. Places are the places that we store assets, garages, stuff like that. All the different apps that I have in my house that run my life. The products I sell as a business, my CRM, my portfolio. Portfolio is going to be looking empty because I got a view there. and then marketing stuff. So what's on each slide of my page. So Airtable has been around forever. People always write to me, can I please get a copy of Airtable? I just love it. I just love it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm closer now than I've ever been before to actually releasing a Airtable now that I've seen how easy it was to get Airtable out. But I had to write all the interfaces for Airtable. So Airtable. So I did Airtable almost 4 years ago. 2 years ago now, I don't know, Ben, you remember the first time I saw it. I told you about this. I wanted another system, not to do with the business of my life, but to do with like me, like how am I feeling? I'm like, what's going on in my life? So I created another base, but this other base was kind of, it was different to say the least. It was more based on like days that are in the 2020s. So every single entry in Airtable is just a single day in the year 2020. So like if I look at the base itself, you'll see here all days 2020 to 2030. And all that is I literally had a database with every single possible day for the decade, and then the sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset, and then I'll get over to the end here, way over to the end, what season it is in, what Sabbath, which is a mid-season point, what Chinese New Year, what zodiac. So think of like one record being one point in time. So once I had these 10 years worth of records with every celestial event possible, I thought to myself, okay, I can make something now where I can write down how I'm feeling. So it started out, Ben remembers like the earliest version of this. It started out as just a really simple journal. This is what I'm saying this morning. This is how I'm feeling. I had to pee. This is my afternoon. This is my evening. So there's nothing in my evening, so I'll look at one yesterday. But slowly but surely, it migrated to one that started dealing with emotions. So I thought, okay, when I log this thing, I want to be able to say, how am I feeling? Okay, from emotions, I went on and logged even further to my physical health, which to what we have today, which is what I call the universal journal. So it's all the different layers that I just showed you in a big interface. So all the same data I showed you from the grid view, but it ties in a different point. So if I want to come and say, what are my intentions for the season that I'm in right now? I can read all of that right now. If I want to come here and look at the tarot card it drew for me today and what I said this morning would be my intention for today and my protection for today, I type that. What my morning reflection, I'll look at yesterday's. Yesterday was actually full of data. This is yesterday's intentions, yesterday's morning reflection, yesterday's afternoon reflection. I was traveling all day, and my evening stuff. And then it shows my card. Then down below, and this has been an upgrade since I showed it to Ben last. It now ties into all the places I've been, so I can see them on a map and tie the memories to the physical places. It's been tied into people for about 9 months, and it ties into organizations now. So I can query like how many times an organization's made me angry.
That's a lot of airports.
Right, well, yeah, I was traveling yesterday. You can see from the photos I was traveling back from the West Coast. Then it goes in and tells you a little bit about where you are in time, the season, the Sabbat, the zodiac sign. Then it goes in and gives you some stats on where you are. So your emotional health over the last 30 days. You can tell I'm really struggling. I've been traveling a lot. Your mental health, how well you've been sleeping, how productive you've been. Any meditation, you can see my meditation's really up because I've been really struggling. Physical health, so steps, exercise tanked while I was traveling. Calories I'm not eating. Weight, actually I'm dropping weight like a lot. Values, and then it goes through and shows you your last, and it shows you as much as you want, but I show my last month or so of kind of spiritual feeling. So what was my feeling each morning, afternoon, and evening? Was my highest value, lowest value for each day? And then it goes back and shows me kind of my photos for, there's me on stage last week, and what's been going on. So it was this really great project that was just one of these things. And then I think I was actually really encouraged by you and Ben to release it. So I went ahead and just made a copy that was super clean, created Airtable.app, and then put it all on here so people can use kind of like the simplest version of it. Does that make sense?
So there's some feedback up there that I cut you off when you were sharing.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's the thing I swear it's the thing that made me the most happy was how many people have written me. So beautiful system, lovely to see databases used for such humanness. Quick thanks for creating Carrot. I'm excited. Appreciate you sharing your gifts with us normies. I mean, I must get an email or a message a day from people who say, I never knew that these things affected my feelings so much. Right? Because you can log your feelings in the release version of Airtable. You don't have 500 feelings like I had. You've got like the basic 6. But I've gotten a picture of a family doing their Miro board together. So someone said that to me and said, this is actually talking about our values now. Thank you for that. So it's been exciting. It's been fun. I mean, I don't know.
You need to block your whole day off on whatever day that the care table you release stops. The date where it ends.
Yeah.
Inside the base, because you're gonna get so many requests.
Yeah, well,
what happens when you get to the end of those 10 years?
Well, I could add as many years as I want.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just have to keep on.
Yeah, 10 years is only like 3,000 records. I mean, it wasn't that bad. But I only shipped a year, so people who download the free version of it only have a year. We'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen at the end of the year. I mean, people could add their own days, you know.
Yeah, but it's all the data for the days.
At the end of the day, Caretable is what you put into it, right? Yeah, I basically dumped a calendar worth of data into an Airtable, but people are dumping their feelings. People are dumping their values. People are dumping their memories and it's amazing. I mean, how much, I don't know. And it's only been like a month. So I'm kind of excited about it.
I'm super glad that you released it, that you share it with everyone.
It was because of YouTube. It was because of YouTube. You two kept saying you need to enter the Airtable interface. Do you remember saying that to me? I kept thinking, okay, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, and I keep telling you that you would win.
Yeah, I was shocked. I'll be honest. I liked some of those ones that are in there. Like there was one called Haunted House. Did you guys download and play with that one?
I did end up going and playing. I saw you comment on Haunted House. I was like, no way somebody made an interface.
Somebody made a haunted house where you pick like what you do and it gives you, it was so good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It was good. I haven't seen like anyone else's or played with any of them, but they looked pretty cool. At the end of the day, I mean, they've got a lot of good examples of how people can use it. And I think it was Jordan that said that the real prize was getting to meet with the interface designer team.
When is that going to happen?
They say sometime next week. Well, time will tell.
Awesome.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
So can I show you guys my latest creation?
Always.
Okay, get ready for this. This is so much fun. So I am having my 35th high school reunion. So I took my old high school yearbook from 1987 and scanned it, and then had each page thrown into Airtable, and then each page's text OCR read out, so that I could make a living yearbook website. So basically for our 35th reunion, there are 3 ways. You can connect through Yearbook Live, which is all Airtable, virtual, which will be like a Zoom meeting we're having, or an in-person thing. For Yearbook Live, which is the thing I think is so cool, you come in here and you click on Yearbook, and you come in here and see, and we're announcing this October 1st, so you can come in here and see anyone from the old class. Like you can come in and search for, I'll just see if I can find me. Hopefully I can. There I am in 1987. And anyone can come in here and list memories about other people and or memories that they had themselves that turn into attached Airtable records. Or you can come in here and upload your current photo and match it to your 1987 version. So it grabs your bio from 1987 and merges it with your 2022 yearbook, and then it allows you to link to a video, talk a little bit about your life, and then it links you to all the pages you were in the yearbook in the past.
That's so cool.
You like it?
That's very neat.
Yep, and then the whole yearbook, which before, I don't know about you guys, you're a little bit younger. Our yearbooks were not digital. Just being able to come in here and look for, Jack or Jackson or anything like that, and seeing every single page that's listed on is pretty darn cool for like someone as old as I am.
That's a lot of memories in there. Like I think I haven't opened up my high school yearbook in decades.
Well, yeah, I mean, some people, yeah, it's hard. What was really, I think, the one thing that was really hard about it was I built the last section of the yearbook is the in memorandum, so people who passed away. The first person we lost was this guy named Brian Tardio, who was in our class. I actually grabbed this in the yearbook, but these were all the people we've lost since then. So what I did was I built a system where you can honor someone, which is just an Airtable form. And then when you honor them, it goes in and creates a little digital memory about that person. So if I want to come in here and see Karen or Kelly Stonecipher, who just died a few months ago, you can see what she wrote in her yearbook. And then on here, you can see the memory. So what I put was, Kelly was the first important person that I knew that was my age. She was our freshman class president. She was always kind to me before she ran. She always was kind to me, so she had my vote. Over the years, she made time to keep up with me in my life, make sure she told me how proud she was of me. One of the last times she messaged me, she said that I was an important person now. And Nancy knew how blessed I was to have made an effort for her to stay in touch. I love you, Kelly. I'm sure you're president in Heaven's 2022 freshman class as well. So it was just one of those things where like it really meant a lot to me that like I can make a way to like honor the people that we've lost from our, sorry. We can honor the people that we've lost, you know? And I just think this is like such a great way to use Airtable. You know?
That's awesome.
And then, so is it set up where like people log in and they can, like, do they have to be an actual member of that class in order to go leave messages and things like that?
No, so anyone can do it. So I do have a manual process where someone puts a form in. I put a checkbox to approve it, and it's just like a bridge too far for me to like allow anyone to do anything. But I don't know. I mean, we had a class of like 400 people or so I don't know how much traction it's going to get once we launch it. We're launching it October 1st. Our reunion's the second week of October. So we're going to see how many people we can get to do the 2022 yearbook. And I built it on Pori, Rebecca. We're going to see how many people we can get to sign up. But I don't know. I was just so, I don't know. It just touched me. Plus to take something dead like a yearbook from the 80s and bring it alive.
Yeah, it's that way of joining and taking something, you know, this existing bit of data that just kind of sits there because it's not digital. And then you're making it so that you can access it and touch it and then connect it with what's going on now. That's really cool. Well, my first thought was like, oh my gosh, it's classmates.com on Airtable.
Yes, it is kind of classmates.com, but Classmates, I actually looked at Classmates to see what it did right and what it did well. I didn't want to replicate the feed, like people commenting on each other, because again, but I wanted it to replicate kind of, this is where you are now, this is where you were then. And then, you know, can do these yearbook snapshots. So at year 40, you know, have your 40 year, and you know what I mean? And I just think that'd be really nice instead of having this constant battle of like watching people go through these ups and downs. Like Facebook is just like watching a roller coaster of your friends. And I just think it's just not elegant.
Well, this too is an accessibility thing for people who might not have got to get their yearbook. I've never even seen my yearbook spot. No idea what my pictures look like. I don't know what quote went on there. Absolutely no idea. So
it's funny you should say that. That actually was something someone said to me, was you gave me my yearbook that I never got because my parents didn't have enough money to have one. And it just totally touched my heart. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, I have some of my own exciting news if we're at a point.
Yes. What's going on with you?
So, for one, I recently started a job with a company called Crowdshare. I am their head of product. And so basically the liaison between the developers and the not developers as of now, until I get a little more fit and trained. But we are launching on the 3rd. And so basically what it is a social media management platform where everybody, like, you can have a few fans. So like Chris, you have fans in the group and people who really follow your content. You could put up a social media post, reshare it to all of the platforms at the same time, and then it sends your fans a push notification for them to also reshare that to drive your organic engagement. And so for that, we've been working a lot in Airtable and Pori and all of these other tools to kind of fill some of the holes where we can't afford to take the developer's time. And while I can't show anything right now because I'm on mobile, we are building out our Crowdshare community in Pori. And so far, I have just gotten the utmost comment or compliments from anybody who has seen it, just, and as with Pori, pretty much all of the design or anything that you're seeing is really done on their end. It's their templates and things like that. And you just put the colors in and change your text size and stuff like that. And so just really, really important people are really fascinated by Pori. And I'm getting hits left and right saying,
right? I mean, we've been saying Pori was the bomb forever.
And just kind of what's really weird to me about this world is that people just don't even know that any of this exists because they just go hire a developer. They just know somebody, down the street or whatever, and they just call up. Well, all those people are busy right now. And we're able to fill those holes and have those things. I mean, even on the project management side of things, just the Airtable side of things, just being able to have everybody on the same page was a hard necessity in the startup culture that this has been up until. We wouldn't probably still be doing, we wouldn't be able to launch on Monday. I can tell you that if it wasn't for everything that we streamlined in Airtable.
Wow.
Oh, that you built.
Yeah.
So were they on Pori before you?
No, I completely introduced them to Airtable, to Pori. I mean, before they were using G Suite and Slack.
So are you not working for the old company you were working for?
I do. I'm transitioning out of that company. We just went enterprise and I've got their systems pretty much built out. That was the goal from the beginning, was just to kind of get them where they needed to be. And then I am actually pushing to try to kind of get somebody else with Airtable experience in there to replace me. So if you're in the greater...
Try to replace you.
Yeah, well, like much. No,
Rebecca,
but
can't your enterprise account rep just help them with that moving forward? Like they should be able to take over most of the Airtable responsibilities, right? Like that's kind of what the account rep would be for.
what we thought initially, actually, I'm not going to say that that's what we thought initially because I didn't, because I kind of know from this whole group and everything. But during the sales process, we were reassured repeatedly that we got these two people at Airtable to help us. One helps with your account, the billing, and all of that sort of stuff. And then one helps with actually building the Airtables. But anytime that I've emailed him, he just says, would you like me to forward this to support? So I don't know, maybe it's more centered around the calls. The other thing, really, that didn't make me so angry as we found out after the fact, and actually 3 months after we signed our paperwork, that we only get 5 hours of base optimization.
What is base optimization?
So that's supposed to be the guy who helps you build your Airtables. Only it's not somebody who helps you build your tables. It's someone who comes in and looks at what you've already done and sees how you can do it better.
That's what I do for my customers. I don't actually build anything. I just go, move the sofa over there by the window. I'll see you later. That'll be $1,000. Sorry.
All of that stuff. Like, I don't want to rip these people at all because I don't think that it's their fault. I think they're told to do this, saying, don't answer any questions, send them all to support, which makes me think that maybe they've outsourced some of their support and they have I don't know. This is just my own speculation. But I got something the other day from enterprise support that like a proxy email on, it was like Salesforce on behalf of Airtable.com. So it sounds like they are using Salesforce internally, or whoever they've outsourced their support to is using Salesforce. I'm not sure. But like I said, I don't want to rip on these guys because it looks like they're doing what they were told to do. It just looks like maybe we need a little bit, either it's a lack of training altogether, or they're training them in such a way to actually just not be helpful, and that's not fair.
Well, at some point, they're going to have to, and I've been saying this for a year, they're going to have to hire what I would call actual consultants, like I was in the 90s. And that's where you know the database, or I guess you know Airtable. Back in the day, you need to know Oracle or SQL. And then you'd fly around these companies, you'd help them set up. Just because it's SaaS, I don't think it makes a difference. You still have to sit with people, understand their requirements. You can't do all of that through a Zoom meeting. You need to meet with everyone. I mean, to me, they're going to have like a real army of consultants. And then, you know, especially for these, you know, big dollar engagements. I mean, they've got some pretty big customers. We'll see.
The other day, I sent an email just asking about needing a script to replace one of the apps that they built. Like it's Airtable's app. It's the batch update app or whatever. And he just said, I'm not familiar with the batch update extension. Would you like me to support? I'm like, what do you mean that you're not familiar with the...
Like, it takes 2 seconds to just look it up on your support website.
Or just go to an Airtable base and click install an app. Like, there's so many potentialities here. Maybe they're too overloaded to stuff like that. Maybe
I just think they're growing too fast. I think I really do. I mean, I was talking to someone today who said, I can't get anyone at Airtable to help me. Will you contact someone at Airtable for me? I said, first off, I'm not like a telephone operator, you know, on a switchboard. And I said, second off, you have to understand they've doubled in size in the past 6 months, and they'll probably double again before the end of the year. So it's just like, you know, it's just going to be hard right now. I mean, to me, if the what's new in 2, I know that seems cheesy, but I think have you noticed they've stopped updating their what's new, and they're only doing these what's new in 2 things now? They're doing that many updates. Have you guys noticed that? So like if you look at their what's new page, it stopped updating in August. And they're
typically they're behind when they do that, but I expect that it'll be in October before they put in all of the September updates.
I guess. I just think they're at the point now where they're updating faster than even I thought they would. What are you guys' opinion on the new universal ad? They made a big deal out of it. I like it's all in one spot, but I've gotten so used to looking around to where I need to go. I don't use it.
The view and interface thing in the bottom left now?
Yeah, it's like, the bottom left, there's like a big add button. Yeah. And it comes up and it shows you views, automations, data interfaces.
So in the views, I really dislike that it takes up way too much real estate. Oh, maybe try refreshing your screen and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
I think that's A/B testing.
Okay. With like the interface ad thing? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, on the left.
Okay.
I don't have that.
Yeah, so where it says create,
yeah, show me what you got. Ben's like, wait a minute, I got something no one else can see. But this is what they in there. What's new for 2 for September? I was like, I kind of like this one. I thought, well, I don't know. I know where all those things are, but maybe if you haven't used Airtable in a while, it's nice to have them all in one spot.
Well, I think too, it's some of those things where the older people who have been using it a certain way and have that muscle memory down might not use those things, but the newer people who come in fresh, sort of like what Ben has talked about before with interfaces. I don't really notice a lot of longtime Airtable users using interfaces, but definitely new ones feel like that's like the goal. That's the end thing that they're supposed to.
Oh, look at that. So they literally created that makes more sense. View
so let's
interface.
Pretend you have like, I don't know, 4 views over here. Actually, we'll do 5 just for fun. And let's pretend you want to access any, like maybe view 4 or view 5 even. And you're like, oh, let me just go over to view 4. Wait, where'd it go? And you have to
scroll
and minimize this, or you can view in this little tiny box up here and scroll.
So they
down.
really are pushing interfaces.
Yeah,
this kind of goes to what I was saying when we first started the call.
Yeah,
and I think that long-term interfaces is going to be the way to go.
Yeah,
Which is
I
a
use
shame
Just we're
because
in this in-between stage where it's not fully fleshed out yet.
Yeah. And I won't live for interfaces. To me, interfaces are not done until they do two things. One, every extension, every extension that is an extension is available on Airtable. It's like I need that. Like there's certain things like maps and okay. And then the second thing is I'm still mind blown that I can't constrain a field. I can do it in a form. What is going on? Why is this so hard?
I think they
You
basically
forgot about
need-
also adding a new linked record.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like, okay, it's the simplest thing, but it's neither here nor there.
they
That's
kind of
stupid.
need to add.
At least we know that's going away.
Rebecca, you're breaking up. It's hard for me to hear what you're saying.
Oh, I think Ben and I were talking at the same time. I said that stupid go to base button.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
once they
think
get their permission set up, then I think that's gonna potentially go away.
Right? Ben and I did something before you guys came on tonight that was really cool. We never get to see the screens we're looking at, so we set up the Chris cam so you can see my setup. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
So now there's 2 monitors.
So I got
2 maps.
this one, which is like all my calendar and stuff like that. And then
Does it
this
always
one-
stay that with that?
Yeah, they always stay those things. This is what's playing on my computer, what's playing in the house, and then what's playing other places. And then this is the big screen, the one like I think doesn't everybody have wide screens now? Ben, Rebecca, Kuban, don't you all have wide screens now?
Depends what you consider wide.
And then over here, I've got the wall. I don't know if you can see it, but so you never get to see this part of my office. So these are all my sensors.
Chris, we're not going to be able to hear you very well.
Oh, these are all my sensors. My DNA. Oh, there's Gaia. Hi, Gaia. I'll show you the library. Hold on. I'm going to show you the library.
You have made this home your own.
Oh, there's Rocket. Iggy. Oh, baby.
Aww. It's so you.
I feel like he's talking, but we just have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah. He's so far from the computer.
He's like,
Isn't that-
oh, this is, you showed me this earlier. It like makes designs in the sand all day, like different designs. It reminds me there's like these rocks that like move in the desert, allegedly on their own.
I feel like I'm in a spaceship that's like flying through the air.
Was that fun? That little tour?
Yeah, your home is lovely and very
Did
you.
I lose you?
We can hear you. I think his Bluetooth must have. So what other Airtable news is there? Or anything fun going on in Airtable world?
Well, there was the new update that they said about, different things that they've made for collaboration next year. And I have my 2 new favorites. It's control click. So when you're in a base, you can control click on a table name and it will open up that table in a new window. So if you want to see 2 at once, or also when you're looking at your workspaces, you can control click a base and it will open up that base in a new window.
So that
How
should be
does
like
that
a
work?
universal.
Can you
like-
demo?
You can do that. It's just
I'm trying. It does. So if I'm in
It's
here,
live. Everybody.
so yeah. So command click
oh,
and it
I
opens
see
it up in a new tab. So you have all of your you might have one tab that has like this screen here that shows all of your bases, and then when you want to go back and forth, the other one just go back to that tab and click the one that you want, rather
What was
than.
the other? That was command. What was the other one you said?
And then also when you're in a base itself, you do the same thing, command click a table and it will open the table in a new tab.
Command click. Oh, I like that. Okay.
Okay, so I will rant a little bit. So that should be like a universal feature for all websites because you can command click pretty much anywhere and command opens it in a new tab. Airtable is just way behind the game on this. So I have used command click quite a lot for tables. And the way it used to work before they released this update, which I'm very happy about. I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but the way it worked before this, it would still open up that table or that view in a new tab in your Chrome browser, but it would, in the one that you clicked from, it would also take you there. So it would still open a new one. You just have two browsers at the same destination link. I am glad they fixed it, but that should have been, I thought it was just a bug that it was just always messing up.
I didn't know that. I mean, since I think it was Kavan also taught me the Command J. Once they moved
For
my
tables.
yeah,
the keyboard shortcut.
I'm addicted to that now. I had no idea how much I needed that. Because once they moved, I don't even know where it used to be. It used to be on the other side of the screen, and they made it someplace hard to get to. Yeah.
And they made it smaller.
Yeah.
Command click is like super useful. So like when I used it earlier today on Zapier, I needed to open up 4 different zaps, and you can just hold command and click any different link, and it opens them up in different tabs.
That's just a Chrome thing?
It should be universal.
Because I usually right click on things and say open a new tab.
But you can just hold command and click instead.
Oh,
you can do that.
Okay, I've never done that.
Like Gmail, except Gmail, it takes you to it as well. So like if you want to open up a new thread, or open up, if you're in your inbox, you can do that to open up new ones, but it takes you to that.
Okay, this is me command clicking everything. That's just basically my new thing. I'm gonna think of Ben. All right. What, did we lose Rebecca?
We lost Rebecca. I don't know. Maybe her signal was breaking up on her phone.
Yeah, probably.
Wait, so Kuvan, what was the other one that you said you had 2 new favorites, command click, and what was the other one?
Well, they're both command click, but one of them is when you're looking at the workspaces to open the base, and the other one is when you're in a base to open up the table.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm kind of looking for that.
Let's see. What else is there that's new? I'm trying to think of the cool projects that I'm working on right now.
I know, you can never talk about any of them. I want to know, how far are you from hiring an army of developers so I can quit my speaking gig and just work for you?
I've been thinking about that recently, but I've just kept raising my rates.
Yeah, I literally just did an event in Vancouver, and I didn't want to go, and I basically said, okay, it'll be $30,000, and they said, for a 20-minute talk? I said, yeah. They said, okay. I'm like, I have to go to Vancouver.
Should have asked for more.
Oh my gosh. And then I got one, they want to be and I'm done for the year. And they're like, well, it's only $10,000 and we'll pay your expenses. I can't do it. It's in Hawaii. When is it? The first week of November? Okay. I'll be there. I'm somehow going to do it. It's going to kill me because it's such a long flight. But God, I love Hawaii. I love Hawaii.
Oh, it's even longer now because you're on the East Coast.
Don't remind me. I just flew back from Vancouver and it almost killed me. We were in Whistler. So we went from Whistler, which is 2 hours north of Vancouver, to Vancouver, Vancouver to Denver, Denver to Chicago, Chicago to Albany. I was like, kill me now. Call me now.
That's how you got all of those airports.
Right. Yeah, it kind of is. I don't know if I told you guys, but I've been having a problem with one of, do you guys know what a dental bridge is?
Yeah, like when you have the tooth, missing tooth.
Yeah, I had a missing tooth in back here from when I was little, and I had a bridge put in, which is they put 2 teeth over it, so you have a 3 tooth. But I have a bridge that's over 25 years old. It's fallen apart, not fallen apart, literally needs to be replaced. Went to this dentist. Dentist sent me to a specialist. That specialist sent me another specialist. None of the 3 of them were talking. So what do you guys think I did to coordinate my care?
A pori?
You made an Airtable.
I made an Airtable. So now these doctors are literally going to my table to log interactions with me And when we got to see like what's going to be done on what tooth, they come in and they pull it up. They can see the x-rays and the reports. And the last time what doctor touched it.
Have they commented on it? Have they like logged in and used
Two
it?
things. So one, they thought it was genius until they realized, oh, they've got it. That like, I know what's going on. And they don't like, well, that's not what you said on this date. Well, here's a screenshot. And then two, they all wanted to do their own x-rays, their own tests. I'm like, no, she already did that. Oh, where is it? Go to the treatment, the test page on the website. Oh, okay. But this one, Kavan, you'll be proud of me. I did lock it down with a password. Since I don't want to have people in there looking inside my mouth.
Yeah.
Unless I really know you. Ben, you miss me, don't you?
Yes, it's been too long. Been way too long.
So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good fall for Airtable. I stand by my prediction from the beginning of the year. We will still see double records by the end of the year.
I think that is I would love for that to happen.
You would?
I think it is a tall order.
Okay. Ben, do you need more work? Do we need to get you more customers? Anybody who's watching this, do they need literally the number 3, probably the number 1? I know there's other 2 consultants in front of you are scamming those ratings.
I've been very much enjoying the customers I've been getting. I'm trying to think if there's been any from that. I know there's been a few that have converted from the Airtable page. But if you like the stuff we talk about on here and on YouTube, then
are you still getting? I haven't seen any. Are you still doing your YouTube videos, or you just don't even have time for those anymore?
I don't really have much time for those. I have had a realization recently because there were like 4 or 5 months there where I was just like, it was right around the month before Airtable until recently. I just didn't really have a focus for that, but I miss it because I really enjoyed doing those a lot. So I plan on doing more soon. I've started getting a lot more ideas.
I'm gonna, Kavan, I'll ask that. So wait a minute, you at one point, I think on the show or with me, you monetized your videos, right? So you make some money from those videos, don't you?
Yeah, so that's pretty much stayed the same. It's kind of like flat. There's not really any growth because I haven't posted in 5 months. It just gets the same.
So you only so the way so if you keep posting, the old videos get more views. Is that the way that works?
If you keep posting, the new videos get a good amount of views for probably the first week, and then it more relies on people searching for that search term from my Airtable videos. Other videos are different, but for the Airtable videos, the first week you get views from your followers, or it could go viral, which mine do not.
But Nacho is very viral.
Nacho does help. He does help the click-through rate. It's a fact.
You need more Nacho. It's like Nacho in every frame. So Ben, what is your new, if you don't mind, you don't have to tell us, but what is your new rate?
So my rate is, I do a 10-hour minimum for any new client to start off, and the rate is $350 per hour. So it's a $3,500 investment to start.
And which it should be.
Oh, which also puts in perspective what Rebecca was saying before, that of getting 5 hours of base optimization is, if you've got a complex system, 5 hours doesn't even get you halfway there of trying to figure out what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of my projects, they all end up, so I have like a few stages that I take a project through. It's very much like a traditional software development life cycle is kind of what I boil it down to. But to take people through that whole process, and then after about a month of iterating, they usually end up around 15 to 25 hours, depending on if it's a smaller project or a larger project. But that's kind of the average across any of the clients I've ever taken on.
It's weird because I've never considered the hourly thing, because I literally just, when I sell a system, I just sell that system and that system, you know what I mean? That just, this is the price for that system. And I give people 3 months, and in those 3 months they have 3 buckets of hours that they use. Like we got a couple hours the first month, a couple hours second month, and they do the work, and you know what I mean, kind of polish it up.
Yeah. Yeah. The tricky thing for maybe it's not so tricky, but how I make it tricky is the clients are pretty tricky, not too tricky all the time, but everything is built tailored completely to the client and their workflow, how they operate. And so everything's customized, whether it's automation.
So you never have something you replicate over and over and over again.
I'll use like concepts that are the same. And sometimes I'll use like formulas that I pretty much copy and paste, which just saves them time. But
you've got like a base that says this is like the 80% of that's going to be the same, because you know, like you've got like a contacts table or something, that's the thing, but then it's you're customizing that extra 20% to
I rarely ever use like a base like that, because usually with contacts it might be like name, phone number, email, secondary phone number, secondary email, but then they have like 15 fields that are unique to them for what they need to know about each contact number, or about each contact or company or opportunity. So typically I find, rather than trying to force something to work for clients, I usually find it easier to just hear what they need and then create it all from scratch, aside from some formulas.
And that's the beauty of Airtable, is customizing it, which is like, Chris, I love Airtable, but getting able to customize it.
Yeah, and the challenge I have is like a lot of people, not everybody I love Airtable and I love to get in and tinker with it. Let's be honest, I probably spend more time tinkering with Airtable than I do using it. I'm not gonna lie on this Oprah show, but that being said, I think some people are just a little overwhelmed. So I don't know, that's why I do it. I was just saying, for a customer that I'm just finishing up with, she's an event planner, and this is the system I built for her. Her CRM, everything's all built in here. Well, she wanted passive income, so we built a whole membership system inside here, so that restaurants can list themselves, so that they can filter down, like, I need outdoor seating in this city that seats 300 people that has Mexican fare. Again, this is just Flare Table with a different front end. You know what I mean? And I just think there's so many Ben and I talked about this, like for the HOA thing. I think there's so many. Ben, at some point we got to resurrect that business idea of ours.
Yes, definitely. The HOA, the others. There's a few.
Yeah, just sell sell all them. Well, and then our first person we have to hire away is Kavan.
Hire. That might be.
Kavan, are you happy? Are you happy where you are? Can we hire you away?
I'm very happy with my current position.
Are you sure?
As she says,
yes, I'm sure.
On Facebook Live.
Could a Beckett get you to come? Get a Beckett. Hi, Beckett. Oh, Beckett. This is Beckett Sensor. Oh, Beckett. Oh, don't get scared, Beckett. There you go.
Is Beckett the most connected dog in the world?
They all actually have sensors. They're pretty connected dogs. Yeah. It's funny, when I get home and they get excited and their energy goes up, they blink. So they look like little ETs with their heart lights going. Okay. Well, guys, we spent an hour. I got to show off enough. I think that's the only reason I love coming to these shows.
I always love seeing it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ben. Ben, you've been such an encouragement to me. I seriously, I mean that. Before I met you, Ben, I would talk about Airtable and stuff, but I'd never show it. Now when I go to conferences, I was just on stage in Vancouver and I was just on stage in Atlanta. I show people my Airtable, and I don't talk about Airtable. It's like what I built. I built it for this town. I built it for my dentist. Or I built it for my high school reunion. I built it for my family. People go crazy. The line afterwards for people to say, "Can I buy that somewhere?" You know, it's so remarkable. I don't know. There's a weird line, but I think happening between like the democratization of software, like you guys keep talking about, and like people just kind of still wanting to just buy it. Can I just buy that thing? Reminds me of, last thing I'll say, reminds me of what my publisher told me when I got my book deal. Because I was like, oh, I don't know what to write. You know, there's so many things I know. She said, Chris, nobody cares what you know. They care about how you think about it.
That's one of the things that you've said to me that stuck with me for a while.
Nobody cares what you know. They care how you think about it. So nobody buys your time, they buy your brain.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go take my
Okay.
brain upstairs and see my husband.
Thank you for joining.
Take care. And congratulations again, Chris.
Oh, they would. I should probably
Yeah.
split the money with you guys.
No. No, but like I was like, okay, because you didn't have it. What was the last one got canceled? I was like, okay, whatever the next one is, I've got to be there so I can say congratulations, Chris, but I can see you.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have done it without you guys. All right.
Thank
See
you.
everyone in 2 weeks. Bye.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.